find your lack of faith disturbing.
Gotcha!
SmashMouth Footballerz. Introducing Nick Tate, Joe Caldero, Chad Young, SmashMouth Footballerz.
Hey, welcome to SmashMouth Footballerz. I'm Nick Tate.
Joe Caldero.
I'm the Shadow Act.
Guys, we get to play with the Jaguars today. We're going to do a post-draft analysis on them, and this is one of my favorite teams as of the end of last year.
I think that they're ascending as a team, that they'll go as far as Liam Coen and Trevor Lawrence take them. They're looking at Brian Thomas Jr. as a solid number one. I don't know if he's a solid number one at this point in his career. They got him on the depth chart as the number one. They believe in him. They signed him again. You know, he only played 14 games last season, 707 yards, but he only had 2 touchdowns.
Duval, or is it Doomed Vol? I don't know if they got better. I got all the faith in the world in Liam Coen, but I look at the primary weaknesses of this team, and I have to ask myself, did they actually get worse or better this offseason? That's the question. Trevor Lawrence is coming off one of his greatest seasons. Liam Coen has something to do with that. Mm-hmm. But the question isn't in the talent in the first 53. We know that. I mean, Josh Hines, Allen, and Travon Walker are both a force up front. Depth behind them is not strong.
No.
And BJ Green and Strigal, if you get an injury on there, all of a sudden two of your best defensive players now, because Devin Lloyd left, is hurt. Your offensive line has got stability problems. Anton Harris, he struggles in pass blocking. Cole Van Lanen, he coming off an injury. Mm-hmm. Travis Etienne's left. While we all have faith in Basil Tootin, we don't know where he took him. And I thought their draft was rather weak. Taking a very, very emphasis in tight end. I think they reached for both those tight ends.
My thing is, you got Brenton Strange, who is actually a great tight end.
He could be.
Yeah,
I expected more of him last year. It wasn't his fault. He was hurt. He had a hip injury for 6 or 7 games, I think it was. And given a full season, the guy will be a top 7, top 8.
Yeah, but
he's not going to be a top 5.
Like Chad said, we're going for a tight end in our round 2 pick. You know,
I'm not.
I don't understand that. Where we got a lot more weaknesses. Their offense stacked. Talking about wide receiver, tight end core, like that's great. I'm with you on the running game. We don't know where we stand without ETN or how the team is going to play.
Chris Rodriguez signing a 2-year, $10 million contract tells me he's going to lead the backfield in the beginning of the season.
No.
I would be willing to put a bet on Chris Rodriguez because Chris Rodriguez is a different kind of runner.
Yeah, he's a hard-nosed runner.
He's a contact. I'm going to knock you over and get the yardage I need instead of the finesse run around like HM was. Trust me, I like the finesse runners, okay? But I also like to see an old throwback running back every once in a while. Scatterbo, somebody like that, creating contact.
I think Basil Tootin showed what he could, especially in the last part of the season. That's going to be the starter. I'm taking him very early in the draft. Liam Coen is going to use this inside zone like he did with ETN last year. He showed he could take it.
But okay, if it's a PPR league, I agree with you because he'll be the one to catch the ball.
I don't even think he's a scat. I think he's going to be a 3-down back.
I do too.
I think he's going to be a 3-down back.
Right.
I'm just thinking, look, I thought one of the best things they did in the draft, and we talked about the depth, which scares me, is they did take Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. I don't know how they got him in the 3rd. I thought, man, he was one of the most dominant guards in this draft, which was very awesome they got him. Because they needed that depth, as I've just told you. Their offensive line is sometimes it struggles, man. Anton Harris, it struggles, man. It struggles in pass blocking. We've seen it. You can have all the wide receivers in the world. It don't matter if Trevor Lawrence ain't got time. He does scramble very well. You took Wesley Williams because you have to shore up that edge. That edge is awesome for them, but you're one injury away from Travon Walker or Hines Allen from not being impactful. I have questions. Did they get better or worse this season? And if I look at the depth, like the loss of Devin Lloyd, you're looking at Ventrell Miller. Ventrell Miller's not going to give you what Devin Lloyd did. Okay? He's not going to do it. That's why I think you're going to have to lean on Eric Armstead. You're going to have to lean on those front 7, and you're going to get lucky. Hopefully they don't get hurt because your secondary doesn't have much depth either.
No.
Your secondary doesn't have much depth either.
There ain't going to be much running on this team. But they can throw the ball on this team still.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have to rely on your front 7. Like, I don't know if Ventrell Miller is going to be. I mean, he's not going to be Devin Lloyd, but you still have two of the most impactful defensive ends in the league together. You got Eric Armstead in the middle, who is a force. I worry about the. Look, is Travis Hunter going to go to the cornerback? Is he going to play? He's
playing both.
He's playing. He has to play both.
Yeah, they already said he's playing both.
Look at the secondary they got.
He'll be back next month. First of next month, he's projected to be back.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Yeah, but you got Braswell and you got Jordan Lewis, but you need some depth. So you look at the depth. You know he's going to be playing.
He's got to play both.
He has to play both.
I got something to say.
Sure.
Sports Illustrated, well-known, very well-known. I mean, they've been sports relevant for many years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
projects
Bikini
Rodriguez
Max.
to open the season as the Jaguars' lead running back.
I don't care about that.
Who is that? Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
And that's just because Blaisdell Tootin couldn't get any yards after contact. He could not. 3.7 yards.
Oh, I thought later on in the year he turned on. He was a home run hitter for him. I mean, I know all that, but I watched him ball. I watched him run the ball. They let ATN go for a reason. Why? Because they had faith in him.
I think it's because him and ETM are very similar.
They were similar.
Yeah,
They were very similar.
They needed a little more
they needed
options.
to do the Detroit thing. You need a hammer to go with the finesse.
Yeah. Can I tell you my favorite thing about the Jaguars is that Cam Little can kick a 70-yard field goal.
Yes, he can.
Can I tell you that's my favorite thing about the Jaguars is like, hey man, if we get it to the 50, we could probably get 3 points from anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the game plan going in next year.
Yeah, the depth on
He could be
the
their
depth on the
MVP.
offensive line. I really like that Pregnon pick to shore up that offensive line. I think he's gonna come in and immediately be a starter. Pass blocking is an issue. He's a real finesse pass blocker. I love what he did in Oregon. I can't believe he was still in the 3rd round. I love the depth on the offensive wide receiver. That wide receiver room is awesome. You don't even need Brian Thomas to be a number 1, right?
No.
And we saw what Travis Hunter did before he got hurt. Dude was balling out. Like, he could legitimately be the number 1. Parker Washington is a dog.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him take over games.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to take the role of Blaisdell Tootin, whether he's going to be in the backfield or not, is early on in the season, let's look at his special teams touches. If he's playing a lot of special teams, then we know that, hey, he's probably not going to be the focus of the running back room.
Right.
But we had a lot of hype for him coming last year, and we picked him up in fantasy drafts and dynasty drafts, and like he didn't produce, and then all of a sudden there were games where he had double-digit points because he broke one off or something. And Liam Coen has a tendency to know how to run the ball everywhere he's been with 2 running backs.
Yep.
With 2 running backs. Bucky Irvin, he did it with Bucky Irvin, Rashad White. He's done it wherever he goes. He did it last year with Blaisdell Tootin, and he did it with HA, and he loves this running inside. He loves this inside zone. And the guy, legitimately, I mean, this offense was the best it's looked for since Sunshine's been in the league.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Duval has a lot of things to be excited about. What I was worried about was the depth. Devin Lloyd even really scares me because he struggled there, but he put it all together last year, and he got paid for it.
Well, I think a lot of everything that's changed on this team is the way that the coaches have utilized Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
They went away from, whatever wasn't working in the past to him running the ball. He became a more dynamic quarterback. And it shows because if you feel like he's a threat on his feet, that gave him more options to throw downfield. And when he needed to, he was able to run. Prior to probably the last 6 to 7 games, he wasn't running at all.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just picked up. Like their game changed, and then they started winning. I kind of wish they would have, and I mean, I really don't know, but when, like you said, you're looking at all these weaknesses, I look at it like this. When they were playing Buffalo in the playoffs, whatever you see that didn't get you to the win, that's what you should have focused on going into this year.
So Liam Coen is, to me, the key to keep them in the playoffs or relevant in the AFC, because the AFC is stacked with teams.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they're going to have to open up the playbook more than they did last year. He kept it simple last year. It was rhythm throws, reads, simple stuff that built his confidence. If they open it up a little bit more, I think them making the playoffs 100% depends on Trevor Lawrence. By far.
I agree with you. I think
wherever he goes, this team goes.
I think this team goes further this year than they did last year.
I do not.
I
do
do.
not.
I do.
I don't, because I think the Bengals have a little bit more than they had last year, and they can make a little more noise. That's because, okay, you got the Chiefs, you got the Bengals, you got the Ravens, you got the Bills, you got the Texans, you got the Chargers, and you have the Broncos. Where do they fit in that?
It's stacked. I agree. I mean, first thing they do, they got to win the AFC South. I think they'll win the AFC South.
Now we're in the playoffs.
The South.
I didn't say they win the Super Bowl. I said they'll go further.
I love. Look, we need to deep dive into Houston, because I legitimately don't think C.J. Stroud's the answer, and if they had anything just a little bit better besides this 4 interception showing in the playoffs,
Yeah, they would have went further.
they would have probably. I mean, that defense is good enough to almost win the Super Bowl on its own, just like Denver's. I think the Jaguars are going to win it again. Why? Because I think Liam Coen is just a better offensive mind.
He's very good.
But I'm telling you, the Jaguars team is an injury away. The secondary and the offensive line are defensive end to where it goes off the rails pretty quickly, because they don't have much depth behind them. Now their starting lineup is amazing, but I worry about depth. I
do.
And they're going in their offensive line. And look, I know I can praise Emmanuel Pregnon all alone and Wyatt Milan, but if Anton Harrison has to take up that spot, or Van Lennon is too injured to start week 1, you may come week 1 and already Trevor Lawrence is getting beat up.
Getting smashed.
Getting beat up. So, listen, that's my question. I expect him to win the AFC South. I don't expect injuries to become that. Travis Hunter, I expect to have a huge leap. I mean, the guy was the most talented guy last year at the roster.
He surprised
out of college.
me.
So
in the short time he played, he surprised
you
me.
have to shore up. There's still time. And they may have rosters coming up and rookies that show up in camp, but they didn't have a first-round pick. I didn't like that second-round tight end pick, and I'm worried about depth. And that's what scares me about Jacksonville. And Duval, you got to be worried about it too. I mean, as excited as y'all have to be about this team, finally, you got to be worried. Look at the depth and look at your safeties. I legitimately worry about safety play on this team as well.
So, who's fantasy relevant for you, Joe, off this team?
If Brian Thomas Jr. if I can get him in the later rounds, he's projected to be a number 1. I don't think he is. I think Jacoby Myers is still the number 1 there until proven different. I have no problem taking either one of these wide receivers later, 6th, 7th, 8th round.
Trevor Lawrence.
Brian Thomas Jr. was a second-round pick because of his talent a couple years ago, and he failed many people. So,
you think Trevor Lawrence is your primary quarterback?
I'm targeting Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, because I don't take a quarterback until later.
Okay. How about you, Chad?
I'm taking Tootin. I look at Trevor Lawrence later on in the rounds, but I always like Dak in those spots, and Cam Little. I never thought I'd ever target a kicker, but at any point the kicker can get me 6 points.
Hey, man.
Hey, at any point a kicker can get me 6 points. Hey,
isn't it weird?
I start paying attention to Brandon Aubrey and Cam Little in fantasy football.
I have never. You guys know I never draft a defense or a kicker.
Yeah.
But if one of those two is there and no one picked, I'm going to get them in the last 2 rounds. In the last 2, they won't be there in the last 2 rounds.
And I try to target Travis Hunter, but I'm telling you, if you look at Trevor Lawrence, the way he throws the ball, it's always like right side slot. It's always tight end slot. That's just the way he's always played this game. So listen, I don't know, like. If your value is good, 6th or 7th round, I may take a flyer, but on Brian Thomas Jr., but he's going to be gone by then.
Yeah.
But later on, if you go in the season on 13th or 14th, you might want to take a flyer on Parker Washington or something, because he might still yield a win every now and then playing that position.
Even when Jacoby Myers was the number 1 with the Raiders, he was a forgotten guy.
Yeah.
And he's a forgotten guy in this team.
And
if I can get him in the 6th round, I'll take him all day long.
And did he not produce last year fantasy-wise?
He did.
Yeah, so
I'll take him all day long.
I look at it like this. You're talking about Cam Little, right? touchback, 1 first down. Hey, let's kick the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just 3-point everybody to death, you know.
Yeah.
And he has the ability. I mean, they have them a superstar.
Yeah.
And he's a kicker.
Yep.
That's it. So.
All right, guys. Well, this concludes our Jaguars. We're going to go into the next one. What are we looking at? The Jets?
Let's do the Jets, man.
Jets, Jets.
All right. Until next time.
Not yet.
I'm Nick Tate.
Joe Caldera.
And I'm the Chataway.
And we're out.
SmashMouth Footballers.
This ain't no regular thing.
Artlist.io.
I shoot my shot and it's clean. This is my city, yeah, this is my team. If you talking, it's hard to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, champion. The game is in trouble. I've been in my depth for the piece of the puzzle. I got it for real. Still keep me going. I wake
Music
up
licensing reimagined.
in the field, man of the town. You've been in your fields. I'm adjusting this crown. Call me your majesty. Either that or your tragedy.